of the day. No job is unimportant. No person is insignificant. And as we each express our natural genius, we all elevate the world. This quote is an inspiration to Dr. Nupur Kohli, a young medical doctor who has inspired thousands. She obtained her master's in medicine from the Academic Medical Center, University of Amsterdam, together with studying medical entrepreneurship and European business management at the University of Utrecht. Her scientific research articles have been published in numerous important medical journals like Global Medicine and many more. She is an important member of the International Diaspora Conference and the co-founder cum president of Indian Diaspora Youth Association. Moreover, she is the former Vice President of International Federation of Medical Associations at the University of Amsterdam. She is also organizer of twinning projects, that is exchange of medical students between European countries. But her natural genius lies in the art of public speaking. She could brighten up any room with her enthusiasm and enchanting smile. She won the 2012 championship for TEDx, one of the most valuable public speaking platforms in the world. She won it for her amazing speech, Life Lessons from Our Children, at Delft, Netherlands. She is now a regular speaker at international forums where she could easily inspire and educate people with her public speaking skills. Here at Datwa, she is going to talk about connect and deconnect. A healthy relationship with your smartphones, a different way of technology management. Smartphones have become an integral part of all of our lives. Admit it, most of us are so much of smartphone addicts that we can't even spend 5 minutes without them at peace. They have a power to link you with the world or break off all your existing connections with the world. Dr. Nupur Kohli shall be providing us expert advice on how to make this power used efficiently. So, it's my immense honor and pleasure to welcome onto the stage this young medical doctor, researcher, healthcare consultant, and world-renowned public speaker, Dr. Nupur Kohli.
Please make it on.
Hello. Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm so sorry. I get a bit nervous from all of you. From my words also, I think. And sounds going wrong? Sounds going wrong? So this is how a person can be in real life. For example, when first entering a stage. But the same person on social media. For example, me. Oh my God, wow, I'm like the most popular person in the world. Every post I put up, 10 likes within seconds. Every picture I post up, new clothes every day. Likes, 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 likes. I'm like amazing. The whole world loves me. They won't recognize the person you saw before, shy. And not feeling like to speak with anyone. And I bet that most of you will recognize this, that in real life, most people can be quite shy. But when they are on a social media forum like Facebook, they project themselves quite differently than we actually know them in real life. And these are one of the aspects I want to speak with you about today. And before we will start the actual lecture, I wish to do 2 exercises with you. And the first exercise to do with you to make you aware of certain things, I will explain for you now. So I'm walking on the road, like this. And hey, on the other side of the road, I see a good friend of mine and I haven't seen in years. So I stand on the side of the road and I want to reach that person. And I'm like, hey, how are you? How are you? And I'm trying to reach that person. The person doesn't hear me, so I stand on the side of the road. I stretch my hand like this. And I say it again, hey, how are you? So I want you to imagine that you are walking on the road and you stand still on one side of the road, like this. And I want you to raise your hands. So I want you all to see, raise your hands. Don't be shy, do as if you're on social media on Facebook. And on the count of 3, imagine that it's your friend on the other side of the road. And together with me, you will shout out, hey, how are you? Before that sound also starts bugging you in between. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, hey, how are you? So how did that feel? Very funny, right? So the second exercise I want to do with you, now you had your imaginary friend, but you all have someone sitting next to you. So, the next moment on the count of 3, I want you to greet the person next to you in your most enthusiastic way, as if it's a person you haven't seen for years, and tell that person, hey, how are you? And actually mean it, you know, from inside. So, on the count of 3, look at the person who's sitting next to you. I don't see you looking at the person who's sitting next to you. Okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Hey, how are you? Okay, wonderful, thank you very much. But there's a reason why I let you do these exercises, because how does it feel to greet a real person in real life? Does it feel the same when you type on Facebook, hi, how are you? And you poke someone and it's like over within seconds, right? So when you do it in real life, and I don't know if you know the person who's sitting next to you, and you tell that person, hey, how are you? It gives a very different feeling. And the talk of today is connect and deconnect, a healthy relationship with your smartphone and gadgets. A different way of technology management, actually. How to keep maintaining that feeling of, hey, how are you, to a real person. So let's start with the real talk now. To tell you a bit more about myself, I do look very Indian. I am born to Indian parents, but I was born and brought up in this small country here called the Netherlands. And for this lecture, especially actually for this lecture, I have traveled all the way, I think, about Russia like this, to here somewhere to India to give this lecture. Just so you know that I have traveled quite some miles to be here with you. So we already had an introduction, but shortly again, who is Nupur from my point of view? I am a young medical doctor. I am a researcher. And I am an international TEDx award-winning public speaker. So how many of you have heard of TED? Please raise your hands. So a lot of you, and the people who did not hear about TED, it stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. And it's an international public speaker platform where speakers like myself can share with the world innovating ideas and to educate and to fire. So as a medical doctor, I work in a hierarchy that can be devastating. I have to take very difficult decisions about people's lives. And it's not always easy. As a researcher, why do I love research? It triggers my curiosity and makes me think every time, in what way can I help the world with my ideas and innovate? And as a public speaker, it is one of my main aims to educate and to inspire, and I hope that everyone who listens to me will take these ideas further to the rest of the world. And some people ask me, is there more? Well, of course there is more. I'm not only my profession, I am a woman. I am a musician, I am a sporter, I am an entrepreneur as well. I can be practically everything I want to be in this world. So it does not end here, it does not only end with this space. The talk of today. The ways of communication have evolved a lot over the years. It started with the pigeon who delivered your mail by air. And after that, the regular post came. So the regular post wasn't enough at some point. People wanted more. So after the regular post, the telephone got invented. Oh, I'm not in front of the screen, that's not good. So the telephone got invented. With the telephone, you could only communicate with someone from your home. But only communicating with someone from your home wasn't also enough at some point. So the mobile phone got invented. And with the mobile phone, it was very big. It was like a heavy book that you were carrying in your hand. And after a while, the mobile phones got smaller and smaller and smaller, and it was a very great invention. But still, people found that is not enough. I want to do more with my mobile phone. I want to type short notes with it. I want to type bigger messages with it. And actually, this phone you see here, this has been my own old slide phone before I switched to the smartphone. And when I got it about 4 or 5 years ago, I thought it was wonderful. That with such a small thing in your hand, you could do so many things. And then technology got very fast forward. We now have the iPhone 6 and other similar phones like these, the BlackBerry, the Samsung smartphones. And we spend a lot of time with our phones. We have so many different amazing functions, amazing new things that are coming. And it is very, very hard to leave your phones and other gadgets alone. In this graph I show you, you see that the mobile phone users worldwide from 2012 to 2017. And you see that in 2014, 63.5% of world population is using a mobile phone. And they estimate that in 2017, this will reach 69.4%. And it is steadily growing and growing and growing every year. When you look at the smartphone users and the penetration worldwide, you see that now in 2014, these are mobile smartphone users. 24.5% of the world population is using a smartphone. And this will increase to 2017 to 34.2%. So also here you see that it is growing, but it's growing faster than the normal mobile phone usage. When we look at Asia, when we look at China, South Korea, Japan, and Australia, when these countries have passed 50% of smartphone penetration among the total population, you actually see that South Korea was first to reach that 50%. After that, came Australia. Then came Japan, and China's catching up. This picture is not showing data about India yet. We'll show you data about India also in a little while. When you look at Western Europe, where I live, you see that it went actually much faster. It first was in Scandinavia, in Norway and Sweden, where 50% of the population had access to a smartphone. Then came here's where I live, Netherlands and UK, and all the other countries will catch up next year. When we look at the share of mobile phone users that use a smartphone in India from 2010 to 2017, we see at this moment 20% of the mobile phone users has a smartphone in India. And within a year, actually we're almost ready in 2015, it will reach to 25%, and that is a pretty fast growth in 1 year. So that is quite interesting, and we have to keep that in mind. When we look at an overview of India, and this is from July 2014, when we look at the total population, and 31% is urban population and 69% is rural population, you see that 70% is mobile subscription penetration, and 7% of that is related to usage of smartphones and also social usage of it. But like I showed you in last slide, this will keep growing and growing and growing. It will certainly not end here, because you are technical students, you know how how fast the development goes nowadays in India. And the same here in this picture. In 1 year time, the smartphone users in urban India have doubled. So these are all very interesting figures and numbers. It is not very clear to see for you here. But compared to other countries, these are numbers of India. The people who are using a smartphone in India are growing much, much faster than all the other countries around you. It can be a very big market, first of all. It can be very interesting. On the other hand, we also have to be careful when growth can be so fast. So we are a smartphone generation when we look at this picture. Almost half of mobile phone users worldwide are younger than 25. 48% of the people is between 18 and 24. And a smaller group is younger than 18 years, but even that group will grow faster and faster. Young people now, the age gets even younger and younger for people to start using a mobile phone and a smartphone. What does this mean? What does this mean? That at birth, we already reserve a mobile phone for a baby like this, and that they will grow up with a mobile phone and will keep attached to it and will never get rid of it. That it will be the most trusted companion who will always be with you, who will never leave you alone. I know that some of my friends feel like that. They're like, oh no, I don't trust anyone but my mobile phone, who my whole life is in it. So that's perfect. I don't need anything else. Does anyone know Maslow's hierarchy? Has anyone ever heard of this? So Maslow's hierarchy is about the basic human needs. And first, this part wasn't there. Maslow said the first need of a human being is a physiological need. So air, shelter, water, food. After that comes safety and security. Then the third need are social needs. You need your friendship and you need family. Then you need esteem. Self-esteem, confidence, and you need achievement. And only on top would be self-actualization, creativity, problem-solving, authenticity, and spontaneity. people have added an even bigger need for a human being, and that is the internet. There must be a reason why people have added the internet as the first basic human need, even more than food or sleep. Do you think that internet is the first basic human need? Just think about it. Why people have done this? So this makes us wonder how healthy or unhealthy is the relationship we have with our gadgets and with our smartphones. Is the way we are using our smartphone and gadgets, is it actually doing more good to us? Is it making us happier? Is it actually adding value to our lives or not? And that is a very important thing to think about for us young people. Because we have many, many more years to live with our smartphones. And a second question that at least was raised in myself was, are you addicted to your mobile phone? How long can I stay without my mobile phone? Perhaps you have friends who you will recognize in this boy here who is trying to sleep and keeps his phone in his hand and keeps thinking, oh no, I must check my phone. It could be something very, very, very exciting. And puts his phone away. And then for 10 minutes, the person thinks, I cannot sleep. Well, you know what? Just take my phone. Just check. Anything new? Anything exciting? The figure here is from South Korea. This is the student smartphone addiction rate. And you see that the female group is actually bigger than the male group who is addicted to a smartphone. 8.3% compared to 2.8%. And we see that in South Korea it starts at the middle school age, 8.5%, perhaps because students in general in South Korea then have more time when they reach high school and college. They did not actually give reasons, but when you see these numbers, I actually thought that 8.3% and 2.8% was actually quite a lot. And that's not a good sign. So this is an American website who asked students, how did you feel when you misplaced your phone? So 73% panicked. 14% was desperate, 7% was sick, and only 6% was relieved. Oh well, what to think about that? And when I saw this picture, I thought, when I am going to give my lecture, I definitely have to ask you the same question. So if you would lose your smartphone or any other very important gadget to you, raise your hands, who would feel panicked? That's a lot of hands. It scares me, guys. Come on. Who would feel desperate when they would misplace their smartphone? Okay, that's a little less. It's comparatively. Who would feel sick? Two person will feel sick. Okay, so, and who would actually feel relieved when they would lose their mobile phones? Is it because of my lecture you're raising my hands, or because you really feel like that? So great to know, and it's good to be aware of how you would actually feel when it will one day happen to you. In fact, a while ago, I myself forgot my smartphone at home, and I had to reach the hospital, so I could not go back to retrieve my mobile phone. And according to some people, I found out quite late. 30 minutes after I had left home, I don't even look for my mobile phone. I just feel when I know how it feels, and I just get it, and it's, oh yeah, I have my smartphone. So I found out I was feeling in my bag. I don't feel something big. I don't feel a smartphone. I open my bag. I don't see my smartphone. And then panic starts coming up. Oh my God, where's my phone? Where's my phone? I actually completely freaked out when I found out that my smartphone was not in my bag. How would I call someone? What to do with all those WhatsApp messages people will send me the whole day? What during lunchtime I do feel like checking my Facebook? What should I do when I have to take a picture of something important I see? And oh no, I arrived in the ancient ages. I have to use a book instead of my smartphone to get information about certain diseases. So it felt terrible. It felt really terrible. And the whole morning I felt kind of depressed. I was like, oh no, what should I do? So when lunchtime approached, I found that I was actually getting more to peace. Because I did not feel every time, I did not hear the buzzing, I did not hear the sounds of messages coming in. I paid more attention to my surroundings. In fact, I actually paid more attention to my patients, and that was a very, very good sign. So this example of myself made me realize that this is not just a figure. It is for real, and we should keep paying attention from time to time. What are we actually doing with our gadgets? It makes think, are we a slave to our phone? Or should our phones be a slave to us? And we should explore the impact that a smartphone or any other type of gadget has on our lives. I wish to show you some figures about WhatsApp Messenger. This is how WhatsApp Messenger has been downloaded worldwide. And these are the biggest countries that download WhatsApp. Brazil, India is also in it, United States, Mexico, Spain, Germany, and then all other countries come. So India is 10%, we have a big world population, big population here, I know that, but still, 10% of the whole world population that is downloading WhatsApp Messenger and is using it frequently. What should we think about? In January 2014, 50 billion WhatsApp messages were sent in 1 month. This number shocked me. So many messages in 1 month? Wow, I could not believe it. When we look at this picture, in our mind, we think that we tell our phones, fetch my emails, navigate to John's house, show me the news, send a photo to Wendy. And the phone says, yes, master, of course, master, I will do everything. But in reality, your phone says, charge me, give me some Wi-Fi now, new email, read, answer this call, a restaurant check-in. And people say, yes, master. Of course, master. And I bet that some of you during this lecture even might have touched your phone or even had their phones in their hands. And I was just looking around, do I see anyone getting their phones? I could not get anyone yet. But just think about it. Did you touch your phone during my lecture? Perhaps, yes. And how many people recognize these people who are walking around like this? Smartphone users are less likely to commit adultery since they have stopped noticing others around them. That some people are just walking around all day like this, or not the whole day, but at some point when you want to say something to someone and the person is like, oh yes, wait, I just have to type this message. Oh yeah. So what did you want to say to me? So it's like that. And you have to think about, is that how we learn from a young child social skills? Is this a social skill? Or is it like how I am standing here in front of you and actually looking you into the eye a real social skill. So I arrived at Calicut Airport. I had to get out of the plane, and the moment the plane landed, this girl and the two gentlemen, it's a bit, you can't see it very well, the two gentlemen who were standing behind her, since the moment the plane landed, they were like this. They stood up from their chairs, they just quickly grabbed their hand luggage, and they just kept typing and typing and typing or on their phones for almost the whole journey from since the plane landed to the airport. And I just wanted to show you that this is a great example of they were not listening to the staff of the airplane because they were on their phones. They did not pay much attention when they had to get off the plane. They did not pay any attention when they reached the airport, even when they had to look where to get their luggage from the airplane. They were still holding their phones. You could say that's a way of multitasking, but this is a good way of multitasking. These are all kind of ways I want to make you aware of what we are doing nowadays. I wish to show you a short video. It was actually a commercial, but it will give you a good idea of how people are using smartphones are watched.
Really? It's time for a phone to save us from our phones.
So there must be a reason why people are making commercials like this. Do we need a phone to save ourselves? Do we need a phone to save ourselves from our phones? It's just ridiculous if we reach a point when we have to say that. We need a phone to save us from our phones. And one of my friends, they told me that, see, we even have jokes about WhatsApp. And perhaps you have also got this one from your friends. Sir, मेरा दोस्त कुछ दिन से लापता है. And then the inspector says, आखिरी बार तो कहाँ देखा था? And then the man said, WhatsApp पे 3 दिन पहले. So if we think like this, that if you, when I am abroad, I usually turn my Dutch phone number off. I don't use my Dutch phone number. And in fact, actually, people did not see me for a few days on WhatsApp. So I got an email. Nupur, where are you? You're not on WhatsApp. And I had to think of this joke. So if I don't appear on WhatsApp, if I don't appear on Facebook, it does not mean that something very bad has happened to me. Smartphone users are devoted users. This is also from the United States. And they have taken a look at the attitudes and characteristics of people who use a smartphone. And here they have looked at the iPhone user. And they asked the iPhone users, can you live without your iPhone? And 65% said, I certainly cannot live without my iPhone. 40% would give up coffee first. And I know for some people, coffee is the first thing they have to drink in the morning, but even their smartphone is much important. 80% even said, I'll stop bathing every day before I give up my iPhone. So you want to stay dirty your whole life before giving up your phone? And these are real figures and very interesting figures that even people's thinking have changed a lot because their smartphone is so important to them. So where do these people check their phones? Where are they busy with their phones? 54% use it while lying in bed. And you see actually in almost every figure here that the age group from 18 to 34 are the ones who do it the most. 39% use their phones in the washroom. Well, that sounds a bit dirty. 30% use it during a meal with others. So instead of communicating with each other, they use their phones 1/3 of the time during their meal. 24% use it while driving. It's actually even in the United States not allowed, but still secretly people do it in their car. Not able to resist the urge. And 9% of the people in the United States use it during services at a house of worship. And that is also not a very good sign. So do some of you people recognize this, that you have seen people using this, or perhaps yourself having used it at certain places like this? So there are people who, your smartphone will be the first thing you will see in the morning very happily, and you will greet the last before you say, before you go to sleep and say your smartphone good night. And is this something we want to have for the future? So I wish to tell you a bit more about smartphone addiction. What is smartphone addiction, and when should you get worried about, I am using my smartphone way too much? Leslie Perlow of Harvard Business School found out that 70% of students in at Harvard Business School said they checked smartphone within 1 hour of getting up. I believe that most of us here do that, actually. 56% check their phone within an hour of going to sleep. 51% check continuously during vacation. And 44% would experience a great deal of anxiety if they lost their phone and could not replace it for a week. So what are signs of smartphone addiction? Feeling anxious when not having your phone with you. Constantly checking the phone for new messages and feeling an extreme urge to respond immediately. When you feel that a message is coming in and you can't keep it away for even 2 minutes, you want to reply immediately. You feel your phone just vibrated in your pocket. When you get your phone out of your pocket, you see that there's no new message. And this is called phantom cell phone vibration. And the symptom is real. And it is one of the symptoms of addiction. And also when you're not listening, when you're with friends, because you constantly think about, what will be my next Facebook status? Will there be a new message coming in? Will I have a new email? So if you're not able to concentrate, that could be a sign that you are using your gadgets or your smartphone too much. Also, when people start failing in school, it could be one of the reasons. Poor grades because of using the smartphone or iPhone or whatever other gadget too much in your classes. You respond to messages on your smartphone in the middle of the night. And when your inbox says no new messages, you still keep pressing that button, refresh to see if there is a new message. With showing you all this information, I am not saying that you are already addicted, but it is good to know that when you have these kind of, I call it now symptoms, when you have this, that you should be aware perhaps sometimes it is good to just not use your phone for a while. So other smartphone negative effects? It can be a part of less happiness and part of getting depressed. Like I said in the beginning, we always think when we see people's pictures on Facebook that their lives are much more perfect and much more exciting and much more better than ours. He's wearing better clothes, he or she has much nicer friends. And I at some point even felt, also, do I really have a very boring life? Should I also be friends with that person? Or should I also start eating this because then that makes me perhaps happier? And in the end, it did not really make me more happy. I felt kind of sad that I even thought that way, that I had to change myself because I saw other people doing things of which I thought it would make me happier. It increases jealousy and bullying. New ways of bullying are being developed, and we have to be really careful. Lack of real-life social skills increases. Do we know how to interact with other people? Distraction, more stress and sleeping problems because of all these messages coming in all day. Eyesight problems and concentration problems, and work, family, and friends life is imbalanced. Perhaps your parents have been complaining when you were at home that you were busy on your phone, that you do not give them too much attention, and even cell phone elbow and laziness can occur. How to healthy use your smartphone. This is one picture. This is a very big board actually we use in the Netherlands. And it has the signs of Facebook, Twitter, email and WhatsApp, and it's written, you do that on a P, and P starts for parking place. Because there were a lot of accidents on the road, and therefore the government decided there should come a campaign to make people aware they should be using all these functions of the smartphone on a parking place. Just stop your car for a while, do the things you have to do, and then keep on driving. In the United States, they have a no technology night at the restaurants. So what do these people do? They walk in, they come to a counter first, there they give their smartphones, and then they sit at a table and then have dinner with each other. And they don't have any access to their smartphone until the end of their dinner. And it is becoming more popular and popular and popular there because people actually start interacting with each other. The no technology nights at the restaurants. This is a board from New York. Pay attention while walking. Your Facebook status update can wait. And there are several smartphone addiction apps, and I want to highlight one of the apps I am actually using myself at the moment. And I find it very handy because I keep track of how much I use my smartphone. So this app I have, these are the screenshots. They calculate my addiction score based on my phone usage. So it looks at how much screen unlocks I have done. It looks at how many hours and minutes I have used my phone. And then it gives me an addiction score. And there's a small puppet here who keeps motivating me, who for example says, you can't find real life in the phone. And what this app also does, it tracks your call and apps usage and see how much time you are actually spending on several apps on your smartphone. And it gives you many other ways to help you stay away from your phone.